So what we want next is to be able to get the currently logged in user from our API. And in order to do that, we're going to need to extract the user's username from the token. And let's take a look at how we can do that. So I'm just going to clean up my windows here. And I'm going to add a new interface because we're going to add the ability to extract the username from the token inside our security, inside our infrastructure. And in our interfaces, I'm just going to add a new interface and call this iUser accessor. And all this is going to do is contain a single method called getCurrentUsername. That takes no parameters because we're going to get the username from the token that's being sent up with the request. And then we need to create a concrete class for this. So I'm going to create a new class in the security folder and call this user accessor. And this is going to use the iUser accessor interface. So we'll need to bring this in from application interfaces. And then we need to implement the interface. So what we want to do is get the username from our token. And in order to do that, we'll need to inject the HTTP context accessor. And we can do that by adding a constructor. And then we'll add the interface, the iHTTP context accessor. And we'll call this HTTP context accessor. And we'll need to bring in ASP.NET Core HTTP, and we'll also generate a field from this parameter. And once again, I'll just take out list dot in here. So our goal here is to get the username from the token, and what we want to do, we'll say var username equals HTTP context accessor, and then we'll use the HTTP context, and from here we can get access to the user for this particular request. Now we may not have a user, so we'll add a question mark to make this optional, and then we want to specify the claims, and again a question mark, and then we want to specify the first or default from here, and we'll also need to bring in system.link. And the expression we want in here, we want to say x.type equals claim types, and once again we need to bring in system security claims, and then we can get access to the name identifier. Once again another question mark and then value. And what this does, inside our HTTP context we have access to a user object. If this user object exists, then we can access the claims for this user object. And from this list of claims, we want to get the first or default that matches the type of the name identifier. And this is what our username is. And then we want to get the value of this. And then we can return the username. So just like our JWT generator, we also need to add the user accessor as a service so that we can inject that into other parts of our application. So let's head to our startup class, and inside here, just where we added our other service, I'm going to say add services, add scoped, and specify iUser accessor and user accessor, and just close this off. And now we've got the ability to get our username out of the token, and we can use this anywhere inside our app simply by injecting it into whatever class needs it. So what we'll take a look at next is generating a new handler so that we can actually get a user and return a currently logged in user to the client. And we'll take a look at that next.